Professor Partha Protim Chattopadhyay, Director, National Institute of Advanced Manufacturing Technology, Ranchi. Professor Binod Kumar, Head of Department, Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, NIAMT-Ranchi. Thank you. Now we will proceed for lighting of lamp by all the dignitaries on the dais. In a minute.
ठीक है ना भैया, देखिए भैया
क्या बोलो?
हाँ
संदीप भैया ठीक है ठीक है।
Please keep on clapping. Now we are going to start with a welcome song sung by NIAMT Girls from the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering. So now I request our Director Sir, National Institute of Advanced Manufacturing Technology, to give a welcome address and also say a few words about the topic on which this conference is based on.
Very good morning. Honourable Shri Sham Arjunwadkar, Chairman Board of Governors, NIAMT-Ranchi. Professor Amitabha Ghosh, Emeritus Scientist, Indian National Science Academy. Professor Shiv Kapoor, Emeritus Professor, University of Illinois, Irvine. Professor Marc Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California, Irvine, Professor Gautam Sutradhar, Director NIT Jamshedpur, my senior colleagues, former faculty member of the department, the audience, my dear colleagues, my beloved students, representatives from media, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to extend heartiest welcome to you and express my gratitude for finding time to join us in the inaugural program of an international conference on translational research, metals and materials. In fact, this particular concept has not yet gained much popularity in metals and materials, as I understand. I congratulate the Department of Materials and Mechanical Engineering for considering this particular subject and to organize this international conference in commemoration of their Silver Jubilee celebration. Little I understand about this area. It is basically a creative exercise to render the fundamental and intellectual resources into advanced and new products which are useful for market or strategic purpose or for some benefit of mankind. The major goal of this particular exercise is to reduce the time gap for research evidences to reach application areas. And if we look into metals and materials domain, this time gap for most of the advancing areas is more than 30 years. Moreover, the metal and material sector is going to face the emerging challenge to adopt sustainability. So here I believe translational research finds its role to bridge the gap between the scientific inventions and demanding technological applications. And to embrace this translational research, I believe we need a special framework with equal, rightful, and cooperative participation of academia, research laboratories, and industries. And we also need a mechanism to safeguard the scientific, ecological, and economic interest of the individual participant. I hope the speakers in the sessions to come will unveil different features of translational research and will enlighten us to figure out a roadmap to proceed in this direction. I again convey my thanks to the eminent personalities in the dais and in the audience for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for elaborating on the topic. And now I request MME Department Girls to welcome our guest with bouquet. I request Ayushi to welcome our chairman, NIAMT-Ranchi, Shri Sham Arjunwadkar. Professor G. Sutradhar, Director NIT Jamshedpur. Emeritus Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, University of Illinois, USA. Professor Amitabha Ghosh, Emeritus Scientist, Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi. Professor Marc Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California, Irvine, USA. Thank you, girls. Now I request Professor G. Sutradhar, Director NIT Jamshedpur, to say a few words on this occasion.
Very good morning to everybody. Professor Marc J Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California. Thank you, sir. Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, University of Illinois, USA. Professor Amitabha Ghosh, Emeritus Scientist of Indian National Science Academy. Shri Sham Arjunwadkar, Chairman of this institute. Professor P.P. Chattopadhyay, Director of this institute. And Professor Vinod Kumar, I think he's the head of the department of Material Science and Materials. First of all, I am very much nostalgic when I entered this room, because I was here as an assistant professor lecturer in 1991 to 96, and I can remember the last occasion when I entered this auditorium when Honourable Governor came. After that, I think I never entered this. I came many times, but after 1996, officially I am invited here for this occasion. I can very much remember that when I was there was many meetings and discussions were there to start some courses, BTech courses in materials and manufacturing, materials and metallurgy engineering, to start a department. It was a huge meeting was there to start a separate department. So I am very much glad to be here, and I really congratulate to the organizers, particularly the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering of this institute, to conduct this kind of conference, international conference, particularly it's an academic get-together. After many years, I am seeing Samji. So we are long association. After many years, I see Professor Ghosh. So this is one kind of get-together and renew our friendships. And I hope this 3 days, there will be useful discussion, particularly on the topics, the transition research in materials and metals. And Director Chattopadhyay has already given a brief about this, why it is necessary, and what is the expected outcome of this particular international conference. So I am very happy, and I want to announce one thing. We are just going to make a very huge, very big scale academia industry conclave, along with almost 20 NITs, IITs, CSI labs and industries on this month. Your director on 23rd, 24th, 25th at Ranchi, at Jamshedpur NIT, and your director will be there. And already you have sent a copy of MOU, I think. And we are trying to make some collaborative work between your institute, NIT Jamshedpur and BIT Mesra. These three institutes were trying to do some collaborative thing. And I think there is a scheme where our NIT Jamshedpur and this NIAMT and BIT Mesra is also associated with a very big project, 80 crore rupees project. We are all associated with that. So hope it will mature very soon. So thank you very much for inviting me. And again, we will meet in the keynote speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And we are eager to listen you in the keynote speech. Now, I request Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, University of Illinois, USA, to say a few words.
So, good morning. First, I want to thank you for inviting me to this place and to this 25th anniversary of this institute. I was introduced to Professor Chattopadhyay about 3 years ago through Zoom conference. Professor Ghosh and Professor Chattopadhyay invited a talk and meet with people around the world, with different countries. We all can join Zoom and learn about the institute. I didn't know too much about this institute, but that was our introduction. And since then, I've been following on the web about the development, what's happening here, what kind of classes are being developed, and so on. I've been associated with the University of Illinois for more than 40 years. I just retired last year after teaching for 42 years at the university. My passion has been in manufacturing, and of course metals and materials science cannot be away from the manufacturing side of it. So it's always good to know the thinking about the research which is to be conducted in this area, and especially this topic of translation research in emerging areas is really very timely. And I congratulate those who have thought about this topic to conduct this conference and bring people to discuss their results. And I'm looking forward to really listening to those presentations. Thank you again for inviting me, and we hope and we pray for the successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wishes. Now, I request Professor Marc Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California, Irvine, USA, to say a few words.
Thank you. I believe that this might be my 21st or 22nd visit to India. So it's been a long time. I came first in 2004 and really got introduced to the country and its educational system, its research institutions by Professor Amitabha Ghosh. A close partner very quickly in research then became Ashutosh Sharma. And we worked together on a very long-term Indo-US program in the area of advanced manufacturing. And in a way, that program is still kind of producing results. Because any program, it should be much more than an MOU. Things work at student level, writing papers together, and so forth. And so along this line, I was called an emeritus professor at UC Irvine, but Yes, I retired a year ago, but I decided to become a professor in Mexico, Monterrey, Monterrey. So I'm there 2 weeks a month and 2 weeks at a startup in California. And although this is more metal oriented, my talk will be very heavily new materials oriented for biomedical applications. By the way, some of you might be interested in joining us in Mexico. There's a lot of commonality between these two countries. There's a famous book written about that by Octavio Paz, who was actually an ambassador of Mexico and lived for 12 years in this country. And he was a poet and poetically waxed about 7 different points of similarities between these two countries. But having been here so many times now, I think I could write a book about all the differences between the two countries. I then should say that after my introduction to this country, so many more people became friends and colleagues. I see some sitting here in the audience. Dr. Naga is here. Then Bidan Pramanik should also be somewhere here. I don't see him yet, because quite a few people actually joined me in Mexico. Malar Rey, Bidan Pramanik, Gaurav Koshan, Rahul Agarwal, and Rudra Kumar. And so we created a little India, actually, in Mexico, in Monterrey. So if some of you have an interest, we can obviously talk about that. And I should not forget Ravi Shankar. My wife keeps saying, Mark, there's no way you can know Ravi Shankar. He's such a famous sitar player, and he died some years ago. But so I'm happy to be here again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. And now I request Amitabha Ghosh, sir, Emeritus Scientist, Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi, to say a few words on this occasion.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Honourable Chairman, Shri Arjunwadkar, Honourable Director, Professor Chattopadhyay, my young friends from NIAMT, and my colleagues sitting on the dais and also in the audience. Thank you very much. You must be wondering what this 83-year-old person doing here, and on a topic which is more or less futuristic, because we have just started hearing about this translational research and something. I must confess that my primary enthusiasm to come to this place is that I have some close association with this institution, particularly because of the Ministry of Education's committee which I have to chair regarding the upgradation of this institute, and I am very here that the progress this institute is making is really very satisfactory, and I am hoping that in the very near future this is not only going to become a university but also an institute of national importance, which I am hoping to see within a period of 1 year. And thanks to the wonderful guidance by your chairman, whom I personally like very much, and your director is a very unusual person who works on the field, and you will not know whether he is the gardener or he is the director. So I think I have to also talk about something in the first session, and I will not extend this address too much, but I wish the new department, or the department which has celebrated its silver jubilee, all the very best. And in the coming years, as I can foresee that the Department of Metallurgy and Materials will play a very important role for the progress of civilization by not only bringing new materials, but by making materials intelligent and rather very close collaborative associates of human beings. Thank you very much, and all the very best for the success of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And we will strive to make your dream for NIMT come true. Now I request Shri Sham Arjunwadkar, sir, Chairman, National Institute of Advanced Manufacturing Technology, Ranchi, to say a few words.
Well, good morning. Respected dignitaries on dais, my respect to Professor Ghosh, then to Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, and Professor Marc and my friend Gautam Sutradhar, Director NIT Jamshedpur, our own Director Dr. Chattopadhyay. I can assure Professor Ghosh that he is an efficient director, certainly caring for the institute and maybe taking the decisions, but with the consensus developed at the board meeting. You may feel that he is like a governor, but he's certainly a very efficient and able director of the institute, that much I can say. And then the HoD, Mr. Vinod Kumarji, and my friend Mr. Naganpun from Bangalore. Very soon we are having a joint collaborative venture at our institute here for the Mechanical Engineering Activity Center that we are going to establish very soon. In fact, the timetable we have scheduled that I personally want to reduce it. We will discuss it. We'll see that how best we can do it fast and accelerate that progress. And past faculties, I think the past faculties have really made the brand NIFT. You know, I'm from the industries, so I travel across the country, maybe occasionally internationally, and NIFT is a very strong brand. And all credit goes to you, sir. I mean, you are the people who have made that brand strong. Having said this, let us come to the, well, and I must recognize the presence of girls over here. It's good that, especially for the materials and metallurgy, so many girls are here. That's really a sign of women empowerment, and look forward for the more participation. My dear friends, you too, I'm glad that you all are here. Well, as I said, I'm a man from the industry. I'm just a graduate and done post-graduation in management and all. And work as an entrepreneur, had a foundry. And then whatever knowledge I had is acquired knowledge. I'm not a doctoral who has studied and got the knowledge. That's the difference between me and academician. So I will give my remarks, not the remarks, but the comments, or whatever I learned, whatever I observed, my observations, my understanding about the subject with my own perspective. So, when we look at the research, I am concerned with the research for the applied research. Especially in the foundry industry, about which I belong to, we had to research ourselves. We had to research the particular problem, a particular casting day in and day out. So that attitude is there with every founder, because he knows some parameters, and there are so many unknown parameters. They say in a letter when that there are 100 known parameters in the manufacturing of a casting, and there are so many unknown. God only knows how many are there. So that's the basic. So to produce a casting itself is a research project for everything. Any new modification, any new development. The reason is that the designer of a component is isolated from the casting making process, and casting manufacturer is isolated from the designer's perspective. So that kind of things they happen, and so it's a research project, and very occasionally there is a good interaction between the designer and the foundry person, so the things are more easy, the life is more easy to produce the cast. So having said that, that basically the research mind frame is always there with the manufacturing person. That is what the statement what I want to make. And then coming to the subject of materials and metals. We are aware in our industry that there are so many new inventions are coming up with the materials. Normally, that cast irons are defined with the flake structures, that flake graphite, compacted graphite, spheroidal graphite, osteoporic ductile, and normally it relates to the physics. You have the metal in your hand, you add to the physics, and that's the metallurgy. That's a very simple definition what I have for the metallurgy. So my experience in the field is that though the compacted graphite or the ADIs are there for a long time, but the utilization or the production scale is a very minimal. That's what I experience in the field. What happens, the manufacturers, they don't produce in the bulk, so it doesn't become economical. So the customers, they are reluctant to go for that kind of things. The designers of the components they are not aware of those kind of developments. And so the research remains at the level where it is today. What we have to do is that, then it's like a first egg or a first chicken. I mean, that's what it happens. But anyway, that goes with the social pattern. As our country develops, naturally the society develops, and then the attitude of the society changes, and then there will be a solution for the situation whether the egg first or the chicken first. And then there will be the investors to invest in the new developments, and there will be buyers and the takers to buy that, because that's a good thing to buy. That's an economical thing to buy, and that's a necessity to buy for particular utility or the utilization. Same thing applies to the high entropy alloys. Just now somebody mentioned about the HE alloys. My experience is that, rather observation in the society is that when the research comes to the tertiary level, the application of the research comes to the tertiary level, then it becomes economical and it gets popular. That makes the economy strong, that provides the employment, that makes the manufacturing in a large scale. And all the economy gets driven with that phenomenon. You can say the example of a microwave. Microwave was something at the lab, it came to the kitchen. And it's so popular, it's so useful, and the industry, the white goods industry has grown up for that particular product. Similarly, can we find out some of the alloys, especially the high entropy alloys, for the mass production, mass utilization? I'm not exaggerating, but right from the kitchen to any application. You don't think, when you, in India, our culture is that when we think of the research, we think of something for the aerospace components or something which is very extraordinary. There is, okay, the need is there. It's not that there is no need for that kind of research, it is needed. But at the same time, parallelly, we must think on that, what could be the mass application and what we need exactly for the society, for the mankind. Because the casting industry, especially the materials and metallurgy department, we are rather here on that behalf. So the entire mankind development has taken place because of this. You see, even the development of the mankind is named after the metals, the copper age, iron age and all. So we have to think of that, what way we need to have the research. So it will be easy and convenient, and we need not hold the conferences of that translational research. It is assumed, it is taken for granted, otherwise why we should have the research? It has to be for the benefit of the mankind. That is what should be the attitude of the research. While having this, I would like to certainly offer a couple of the comments, because I take the opportunity such eminent persons are here and in the audience. There are good professors, eminent professors, and when we enroll the students for the PhD or the doctoral, as initially I said, I am not a doctoral candidate, rather the guy. So But whatever I interacted with them, whatever I interviewed, I could learn that what we need to enhance is the sphere of the knowledge of the PhD level. They are more focused than required. They make the problem statement or they make the research statement, and they have the knowledge of, peripheral knowledge of the thing. They are focused on the statement, but the basics of the things, they have to widen their scope of knowledge. If they widen on the scope of knowledge, then they can understand the utility. And once they understand the utility, okay, there will be a translation into the mass application of the thesis or whatever the research they have made. And that culture we have to inculcate. And when, having said this, how we inculcate that research, that culture, we need to take a very baby step. The baby step is that when we send our students for the in-plant training, we have to make the orientation program for them. You know, we have the industries, names of the industries, we have the students, either the students they give the choice or we give them that you go to that industry, these 4 boys, you go to this industry and all. And there ends the matter. And that's not the way of doing the things. If you really want to bring in the culture, good culture, industry-academia interaction is not a subject to be discussed on the dais. It has to be implemented at the ground level. And how you do that? It starts from your 3rd year, 4th year students. When you're sending them for the in-plant training, the professor in charge should take the orientation program. Maybe you can invite a person from the industry and then introduce them what the industry is and what they're supposed to look at. The students, they go to the industry and they don't know to whom to interact and to what to look at, what to study, what kind of notes they have to make, what kind of references they have to collect. Almost there is a library in every industry or a training center. But I really don't know how many students they visit the library or the reference things they really check in that industry where they go. So if this culture is inculcated of study, that you want of the production, I mean production of the things, whatever they have studied, whatever they have learned, how the production takes place and what are the gamuts of the production. Once this culture is inculcated, then the same students, when they take the admission for the MTech or the PhD, they have that attitude to look at the research, what they are supposed to do that. What could be the mass application, what could be the production facilities, and what could be the production possibilities for the mass production. And in case if they require, they should not confine their research to their lab or to their classroom. I don't say classroom, but the place where they are making the research. Per se, that may not be a classroom. That may be the interaction with their guide. So when they interact with their guide, they should ask the questions. They should be more enthusiastic. And once this enthusiasm comes in picture, once they start asking the questions about the concept, whatever on that they are working, how it's going to be useful, what is the utility of that concept. It doesn't mean that you need not have to do the fundamental basic research and scientific research. You need to do that. But ultimately, you should do in what direction it has to be done. Once you understand the scope and the direction for which I am working for that, then you can understand that how you can translate that research into the mass production and for the utility of mankind. That's the larger perspective you should have. Facilitate the comfortable life to the mankind. That is the way what we need, and that may come through the industry, that may come to any application. So that is what you need to have the attitude. So for that, and my dear students, if your professor they don't take your orientation program, don't worry. You make them to have it. You go with the group to them, ask them, sir, I'm going to such and such industry. What kind of industry are you aware of that? Because in today's world, every industry wherever you are going, they have the websites. You know what kind of productions they are having, what kind of organization structure they have. So you look at it. You should know precisely which industry you are going, why you are going, what you are supposed to do there, what you are supposed to study there, what you are supposed to observe and understand there. You ask these questions before you embark on your journey to the in-plant training with your professors. And then my request to the professors is that you should keep the track of that. If it is needed, if it is possible, not not if, but make it possible to visit at least once in the industry, talk to the management, talk to the students on the floor, and monitor and ensure that this culture is there. This is a very baby step, but that sets the culture for the to make the mindset of a student to have the proper research, proper growth of the subject in his mind. So, you, my dear students, you please remember these things. You may not feel it is important at this stage, but when you will go there, then you will really realize, I want to make the MTech, whether I want to make the PhD. You should be very clear in your focus, in your ideology, that whether you want to pursue the studies, what kind of studies, and what for you want to pursue the studies. To get the PhD and to get the job in any educational institute, that should not be the purpose. That is one of the purpose. That should not be the only purpose. That's what I mean. But ultimately, you should know what is the goal, what your research, how it could be translated into the mass production and application. That is what you need to focus on. I can quote a very small example of Edison. Edison name you must have heard, the greatest scientist holding hundreds of patents and all. I visited his laboratory in New Jersey, and it's totally interdisciplinary studies, right from the chemistry to the horn of a rhino. What is not there? Mechanical engineering, right from drafting boards to variety of old kind machines, planers, shapers, lathes and all. And he has worked on every phenomenon. He has built up a team with his colleagues, with his couple of partners, and with his team of that time engineers are the learned persons, I can say. And what was his strategy? How he sustained his research? The strategy is that he used to have the idea, say maybe gramophone, maybe light, maybe phone, whatever it is, whatever he is working on that, or whatever strikes to him. Whatever strikes to him, he has got that idea. He starts giving the thought. He has the concept that, okay, this is the thing what I will like to pursue, I will like to make the research into this, and I will see that I will like to develop this kind of product. Product is not known, it's totally invention. Again, one more statement I will like to make is there is a subtle difference between the research and the invention. And the ideal is that the invention, research-based invention is ideal. Anyway, so Edison is to think on that. Once he is clear in his mind about the idea and the concept, then he will call the meeting of his colleagues. He will tell them, this is how the concept is that, and from this moment onwards we will be working on this concept. And and he will check the facilities. He will see that the facilities are made available to the colleagues. The colleagues and the team, the selected team of that particular project, they will start working on that. And he will be always available to guide them. He was a shorty guy. There was a special lift made to him. Then he will monitor, he will give the inputs, and the research will be in progress. And once it comes to the stage where the results are very close, then this wise man will look out in the market, look out in the society, who could be the potential user of this particular phenomenon. And then he will have the meetings with the investors, with the industries, and discussions in the society. And then he will see that how commercially it could be mass produced, it could be done, whether how the pilot has to be there, and then once the pilot is successful, how it could be produced in the mass production, and how it could be encashed. Encashment is one aspect of it, but to make it popularized and to make it for the comfort of the mankind, that is a real object. You see the inventions what he has made, how comfortable we are today. That was the basic, that was the beginning of it. So that's a good ideal model. So when you have the concept in your mind, when you are working on the research of something, you remember the Edison, Thomas Alva Edison. So once you know that whatever I am doing today, how we can do this, and how I can manufacture this, and who could be the potential buyer or the investor for this idea, and then you could be successful, and that's the real translation of your research. And this thought or this concept or this phenomenon has to be there right from the day one you are in the third year of the engineering. So if it is there in your mind, then ultimately this culture will be built up, not only in our institute, but the institute across the country. If this culture is built up, then naturally, as it has happened in US, the same thing will happen in India. There will be the patents, thousands of patents they will follow, and the engineering industries will prosper, and the mankind will be very comfortable, the people's lives will be very comfortable, even with whatever the earning we have today. We will not get any fascination for anything, for any other thing imported, because we will be having better things for our utility and our comforts here in India, made in India, by the Indians, right from the research level, right from the basic level. So this is what the message what I would like to give. Then what we are planning to have in NIAMT. Unless and until say a couple of words on this, there is no meaning. I'm just telling. I'm not preaching you. We are having this kind of thoughts in our mind for a long time. As we interacted with Professor Ghosh, we got enlightened, and rather he has given that spark of thought in minds of all of us. So we have decided to have a futuristic advanced manufacturing forum of India in our campus. But our priority has changed a little bit because we want to have, we want to make the life of students very comfortable and easy for their future career. So we are given that as a priority. So we are in the process and following on the topmost priority for the transformation of our status. That is what we are is on our priority, and we are working towards that. I am hopeful that very soon we'll get the results. So this is our priority, but nevertheless, this FAMPI group or the FAMPI idea is not dissolved or not liquidated. That is very much in our mind, and very soon we will do that. And as I said, that for the graduate level or for the postgraduate level, when you make the research, you need to have the facility to see that how you can make the things, production the things, you can make the pilot production, you can make the real good production facilities, how you can smell it, how you can work on that. So we are trying to make an incubation center in our premises. Already the place has been earmarked, if I am not wrong, Director Sir has shared this thing, the place is earmarked in our campus. We are already sanctioned the grant of DSTI to our institute, so that grant is available, place is available. It's a very latest news, and very soon we will have the incubation center at our premises, so that will facilitate you guys. And when you have the incubation center, it doesn't make any difference at which year you are studying or whether you have completed your graduation or not. You can start making use of that kind of facility, and whatever the spark or whatever the concepts you have, you can start working on that at whenever it pleases to you. Of course, there will be some norms to put the discipline to the things, but that should not detain you from the thought. You should carry on with the thought of innovations. So, gentlemen, these are the kind of messages what I want to give to you. This is to hold a seminar to translation research in metals and materials, or for that reason for any of the faculty, for any of the department. That should not be a felt necessity. Translation into the research of the research made has to be there. It is a compulsory thing. It has to be there. Maybe some basic research is there that will always help you to develop the new concepts. But taking the cue from this, we'll all work towards that. We'll work to establish this culture. What I have said right now, I will not repeat all the speech what I have said. Let us make our efforts wholeheartedly to inculcate this culture. My request to the faculties, my request to the students, and we have the luminaries here on the dais. And as Mr. Gautam has said, there are so many IITs and NITs coming together. So we have got a good bank of knowledge and knowledge repository available with us. Let us make use of this opportunity and let us make a very successful phenomenon, translational research into for materials and materials. So with this, I wish every best to the conference and request all the learned authors who are going to speak to make a small abstract or a profile of their speech so we can publish in seminar in the souvenir, and that could be useful for the students for any reference whenever they need. And a copy of the souvenir will be also helpful for us to look at it and to set the direction for the department. That could be more useful for us. So with these words, I wish every best and all the best for this program, and very best to you, my students, that you could be a scientist, maybe having idol as a Edison. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for insisting faculties and students to take baby steps to bridge the gap between industry and academia, and to do translational research and to groom an idea to convert into a manufacturing unit. As suggested by our chairman, sir, we have already compiled the abstracts from the keynote speakers as well as from the participants that we have received, and we compiled it into a souvenir, and right now we are going to have an inauguration of the abstract book for TRMM 2023. So the hard copy is here on the dais for the inauguration, and e-book copy is already given in the pen drive in the kit that is given to the delegates for the conference. I request all the dignitaries on the dais to hold the abstract book so that we can have a nice snap for the event. So please. Thank you. So now let's proceed to the felicitation
ठीक है भाई है ना
of all the dignitaries. I request our girls from MME department to proceed for the felicitation of our dignitaries. So, felicitation of our guest, Shri Sham Arjunwadkar sir,
और इसको
Chairman
निकालिएगा ना
NIAMT
तो हमको
Ranchi.
बता दीजिएगा ठीक ना
I request Director sir to do the honors. It's a small prism on the statue representation of Partha. I request Director sir to felicitate G. Sutradhar sir, Director NIT Jamshedpur. Emeritus Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, University of Illinois, USA. Thank you sir for joining us. Amitabha Ghosh, Emeritus Scientist, Indian National Science Academy, New Delhi. Professor Amitabha Ghosh. Professor Marc Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California, Irvine, USA. Today we are here to celebrate 25 years of Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering Department, and hence it is a must duty to appreciate the efforts made by the ex-professors through the journey of this 25 years of MME. So I request our Director Sir to felicitate our ex-professors of MME Department. Professor V.K. Sinha, he is not here today. Professor N.S. Mishra. Please, sir.
I shall go downstairs. No, I can. Let's go.
Professor B.K. Chakraborty is not here. Professor S.B. Kumar. So please. Yes sir, ये दिन भी है. A big round of applause. say a few words.
मैं विभाग के सभी अध्यापक को हार्दिक बधाई देता हूं कि जिस वृक्ष का हमने वृक्षारोपण किया था आज वो बड़ा होकर हमको छाया प्रदान कर रहा है। आगे भी इसी तरह शुभकामनाएं हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir, for blessing us. Professor D. Mukherjee. Sir wants to say a few words.
Dignitaries on the dais, my friends, colleagues, young students, and everybody in the audience. I personally feel deeply honored to be invited to this international conference on TRMM-2023, which is being celebrated as Silver Jubilee of the Department of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering in NIAMT. Now, I feel fortunate that I had the opportunity of witnessing the growth, evolution of the Department of NME. By virtue of my being Chair Professor here on behalf of the Government of India Ministry of Steel. And it is so nice to be around in this hall, which is very dear to me. I still vividly remember the first assignment which I undertook of preparing an assessment of the status of the diagnostic and scientific equipments that was present at that point of time, and to identify future equipment that could be brought into the department to improve the research infrastructure base of the department. It is so nice to see that the department has progressed and it is in a much better shape as of presently. Now, this institute has continuously nurtured and nourished, students for their excellence towards academic pursuits as well as professional competence. And what had impressed me the most during my period of stay between 2014 to 2019 was that the unbelievable sort of performance of the students in gate examination. Even to the extent that 3 of the top 10, were students who backed from this department. That's a huge achievement. And I wish the same thing continues further. And it was my personal pleasure that I had the opportunity of teaching this bunch of students and to sort of equip them for their future professional ambience. And it's also very interesting to note that the management of NIAMT and the Department of NIAMT has selected Translational Research in Metals and Materials to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the starting of the department. Metals and materials, as we all know, have been a very integral part of the human civilization progress right from prehistoric era to currently, and it will remain the same in future as well. So obviously, though there has been a huge change in perception in terms of its application usage, and more particularly in terms of the sustainability of the environment. Now, I personally wish that this department grows from strength to strength in future, and I thank the organizers for organizing this meticulously planning for this conference, as well as to felicitate the bunch of people who had contributed in their own humble way towards the growth and progress of this department. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for expressing your feelings for the department. Professor B.K. Jha.
Thank you, Dr. Chattopadhyay and the Metallurgical Engineering Department. Though I have a very short span here for 2 years, before I am basically a man from industry, but Chairman sir was telling that industry persons should also come to institute. After being here as the head of the Sale R&D Center, I joined IIT Roorkee as visiting professor, and then joined NIP. Here for 3 years I was here. And during my stay, very beautiful work, a book on the artificial intelligence aided materials design. I have written, which has been published by CRC Press. And
Thank you, sir, and thank you for gifting us with your piece of work. Now, I request our Head of Department, Materials and Metallurgical Engineering, to propose vote of thanks.
Dignitaries on the dais, my colleagues, staff members, and my beloved students. On behalf of TRMM 2023, it's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I would like to thank our beloved Chairman, Board of Governors, NIAMT, Shri Sham Arjunwadkar, for sparing his valuable time from his busy schedule to be among us and wishing the event to be a grand success. I would also like to thank Professor Gautam Sutradhar, Director NIT Jamshedpur, who has honored the inaugural function with his gracious presence by sparing his valuable time from his busy schedule. My heart fills with a lot of gratitude and respect for our distinguished guest speakers, Professor Amitabha Ghosh, Emeritus Scientist, Indian National Academy, Science Academy, New Delhi, Professor Marc J Madou, Distinguished Professor Emeritus, University of California, Irvine, USA, Professor Shiv Gopal Kapoor, Professor Emeritus, University of Illinois, for sparing their valuable time to grace the occasion, who will enlighten us with their commendable talk on their respective subjects later on. I would like to thank Professor P.P. Chattopadhyay, Director NIAMT, for his constant support and guidance to mark TRMM-2023 a grand success. I would like to thank all the faculty members of the department, without whose support it been impossible to organize the conference and making it a grand success. Thanks are also due to a team of volunteers for their tireless effort to make TRMM 2023 a grand success. You have indeed put the best of your efforts to make this conference unforgettable. Now I would like to thank our sponsors, Department of Science and Technology, New Delhi, Messrs. Gatton Pleasanton, California, USA, Messrs. Geol India Private Limited, New Delhi, and Messrs. MPME, Jasidi, Jharkhand, for their generous financial support which helped us to accomplish the goals as a result of having sufficient funds. And finally, I would like to thank social media teams present over here and hope you will highlight the achievements of TRMM 2023 at different media platforms through good coverage. Once again, thank you all, one and all, present over here. Thank you.
So now we are going to proceed for the photo session with the dignitaries on the dais. I request all the ex-professors to come on the stage to have a one big snap with the dignitaries on the dais. Please, sir. Thank you, all the ex-professors. Thank you. I request all the current faculties of Materials and Metallurgical Engineering Department to come fast on the dais to have a snap with the dignitaries on the dais. Please, please.
सुनिए भैया आगे में फोटोग्राफी हो रहा है ना, तो आ रहा था अंदर अजीब दिख रहा था, तो इसको फिर हम ऊंचा कर देंगे।
Audience, please.
तो
Is there any speaker present in the audience? Invite speakers.
नहीं sir. Yeah. Now I request all the volunteers for TRMM-23 to move quickly so that we can have a start in 2 minutes. All the volunteers for TRMM-2023, a big round of applause for all of them. They have worked hard to make this day happen. Together we made it. All the volunteers, please come, take your places quickly. Quickly. Take your places.
पोजीशन बना लेंगे आप, पोजीशन बनाओ
यहाँ दी ना।
I request all the dignitaries on the dais to be seated for some time.
हाँ सब ठीक।
Okay.
ऊंचा किया, एक बार ट्राइपॉड से निकालेंगे।
नहीं नहीं, बस ये देखेगा कि ये ना निकल जाए।
Volunteers, be quick. Settle down quickly. Now we are going to proceed for the National Anthem. I request all of us present here to stand for the National Anthem. Thank you. Now, we are almost done with the ceremony, inaugural ceremony of the conference TRMM 2023, I request all of the participants, delegates on the opposite side of the dais to stay as it is, so that the dignitaries on the dais can proceed to the ILC room administrative building. So, I also request all the deans of NIAMT, all the HoDs of NIAMT to proceed to ILC room administrative building. I request all the deans of NIAMT and all the HoDs of NIAMT to proceed to the ILC room. And the keynote speakers as well to proceed in the ILC room. I request all the dignitaries on the dais, all the keynote speakers, all the deans of NIAMT and HoDs of NIAMT to proceed to the ILC room. I request all the former professors to proceed to ILC room. Yes. So I hope now we are all materials and metallurgical engineering crowd. Yes? Yes. So 3 cheers for MME for celebrating 25 years. Hip hip. Hooray. Louder. Hip hip. Hooray. Louder. Hip hip. Hooray. Thank you. And now we will proceed for the high tea in the canteen area just below the administrative. Thank you for joining us. We'll be coming together after 20 minutes of break at 12:10 noon. Thank you.